Right, so last week there was no league racing content, and that is because this race you're seeing right here was not a classic. It was simply not worth a video in itself. However, another week has gone by and we can now merge this with another race, the latest one at Kota. So in this video, guys, 2 races, 1 episode. So hopefully you enjoy it and trying to get the most action out of those in this one. So currently we're in qualifying in WOR PC Tier 2, the last episode, which was a while ago, linked in the top right for spoilers, guys, so go check that one out before we come back to this one. But let's get into it and let's see what happens. First off though, our first banker lap. Oh, that's a shocker. Not the best start, a 1:22.3. I will admit, it's been a couple of weeks now, so I don't exactly remember the best times for this, but I remember I was a good half a second off, even like P17. Like, it was genuinely not very encouraging. So I was in a bit of trouble this weekend. I just didn't practice enough, but also I seem to just really struggle at this track. It seems to be a bit of an issue. A bit like in the last race in Zandvoort, where we also had some trouble. I just seem to have issues here with pace. So yeah, it is what it is. Not much I can do about it, to be honest with you. I need to focus up. I'm getting too distracted now. Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. We're fucked. Absolutely fucked. I am really slow here. Now in Zandvoort we managed to salvage a decent result, but in this one you can see we've already had a horrible second attempt which I invalidated, and I was really not happy with the pace. So it's all down to one last attempt. Now usually I'm pretty decent at clutch one lappers. If I need to get a lap on the board, I usually can do it. So if there was a time, now is that time. So checkered flag drops. Left at P16, 17.1 in the first sector. We go just a fraction quicker, so it's a decent start. Making our way through the hairpin, trying to get a good exit onto back straight. And to be fair, I clipped the inside, or the outside curb, shall I say, on the entry of the corner, which was just a little bit upsetting on the balance. I was also struggling with this braking zone here, braking on the curb. The car just did not like it. It was bouncing up and down all the time. And we broke way too early there, so we lost all of our margin and advantage, but we get a decent exit, so we do recover some time. I didn't feel great, but it wasn't too bad. And you can hear me say it wasn't great visually, but we did actually get a decent exit. And in sector 2, we are 2 tenths down on now the new P16 Andre Molnar. We get our drift on through the hairpin, and already just mistakes creeping in. Still finding time, but definitely not the most optimal way to go through there. 21.4. For P16, our best is a 22.3, so you get the gist of what we're looking at pace-wise as we make our way through the final couple of corners. Still trying to find some time, and we're going to improve by just under 6/10 of a second, which just isn't good enough. Not often I have a qualifying where I'm not happy with a single lap. I usually get one decent lap in, but that was not good. And yeah, just a disaster, simply put. Not good enough. I will admit, I think my personal best running into this was a 0.5, so even my PB just wasn't enough. I just, you know, if you're under practice, there's no way around it. It shows, and especially in this game, on this grid where the margins are very close, very tight. I mean, yeah, it was tough for me. It was really tough here. I like Abu Dhabi, I enjoy it as a track, but just doesn't seem to suit me. Hopefully though, next time we race here we can be faster and do better. Either way, let's get into the race. Or so I thought, because as you're going to see now in the next couple of clips, you're going to see clip number 1, which is when my stream crashes. Now we had a lobby restart, and just as we went into the lobby for the race, my stream crashed, and it was, yeah, my OBS basically crashed. It froze out, which took a few seconds to get fired back up. Also, the very next clip after that, clip number 2, is when my stream went back online, which is about 4 seconds before the race started. Now, I just managed to get my setup on in time, but I managed to do no strategy work whatsoever, and that put me on the back foot pretty much instantly. This is a league, yes. Time to crowdfund now. I would never ask someone to crowdfund me some gear, unless like it was a case of emergency where multiple things broke at once or something went wrong and I just couldn't afford it or whatever. Yeah. Oh boy. we literally just made it on the buzzer. But now the question is my wheel going to work with force feedback? The answer, well, I've got force feedback, that's something. But I only just got my setup on in time. I just made it. I've not changed nothing in terms of fuel or tyres or strategy. Oh my god, please give me a safety car. Please give me a safety car. Bail me out. Oh, Lewis. Oh. So originally my plan was to start on the hard tyre and then go for the medium. That went out the window as the game by default selects medium. So I'm hoping for a safety car to get my strategy on track. Lewis, unfortunately, my teammate goes for a spin. And now you're going to see something I've never seen before. Oh my god, I can't see a thing. What the fuck? I've had smoke before, but I don't think I've seen anything like that.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
And that has cost us our front wing. Not stream back. And you can see I'm still trying to check if the stream is still working. But yeah, wing damage. Back to the pits we go, onto the hard tyre. And honestly, it was just a really unfortunate set of circumstances. Besides the lack of practice, I could have still had a decent race here, you know. What a great time for my fucking OBS to crash right before the race. Oh, I need a safety car to bail me out. Funny, I was just talking about my PC, like, I need my PC to hold up. It lets me down. Oh man, I haven't done something. Shut up. Kind of glad I didn't start on hards now, because I would have had no hards to go on to. Oh, what a disaster, man.
Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy.
I'm on the wrong tyre pressures, which is not ideal, but oh well. And yeah, pretty much that was it. Dan Halliday went for a bit of a spin, but besides that, literally I just spent the whole race praying for a safety car, and it just didn't arrive. We got lucky in the last race in Zandvoort. We got bailed out and we had a late charge for some points, but we weren't going to get that same luck again. I went to lap 25 on the hards, and we're now going to box for the softs. Now at this point, my teammate Lewis Welch had the fast lap of the race, and he's in P12, and he was battling for points. So I didn't want to commit to this if he got P10 and finished in the points. So I was kind of leaving, you know, things open in case that were to be the outcome in this race.
The fastest lap at this point in time is a 1:23.6. We don't currently have the data for that request.
Can you tell me really quickly who's got the fastest lap? Is it Lewis?
Flag.
Is Lewis on the fastest lap? I need to know. And is he... Because if he gets points, obviously he can get an extra point, so it might not be worth me doing this. If Lewis can get a point, P10, then that's an extra point for the team, so I don't really want to take it off him, my own teammate. Jack's going for it. I've since found out that there's actually no fastest lap point in WOR, so this entire sequence is pointless, but I thought, you know what, I'm not going to push just yet. We'll see if Lewis can get the fastest lap of the race. And Lewis is in the points right now, so I think he's in the points, I can't tell. Now, long story short, Lewis finished P12 at the points, and Jack still took the fast lap away from him anyway, so it was pointless. So we went ahead and actually got the fast lap of the race in this one. But yeah, pretty much a disaster. Nothing happened, nothing to talk about. No points for me, no points for Lewis. Just a write-off. And you know, after Zandvoort, this was not ideal. Lack of practice, but also really unlucky, and just yeah, circumstances not going our way. Either way, we're now going to jump into the next race at Kota. Oh yes, lovely.
I'm qualifying last.
Lovely.
Oh, that's what we love to see.
So, completely different conditions. Also, I've tweaked my camera settings. I'm still kind of working on them to see if I can improve my pace. So if I am happy with them, I will release them in a future video. If you watch the streams, you can get them live in there if you ask me in the comments. But yeah, as for the video, once I get the final ones, I'll drop them. But anyway, wet conditions in qualifying at Kota. And we start off going quickest every time. Now, if you remember round 1 at Spa, the season opener, it was a wet qualifying. And we was fighting for pole. We was mixing up with the big boys. And it's been a thing before. In the past, I generally am fast in the wet. Why is that? Because nobody practices, so it's a level playing field. So when it's down to just talent and what you can do at the moment, I'm still actually pretty quick. Not bad.
So I'm just saying, yeah, pretty much what I'm saying is, like, when they're fresh, they're so much better. So you could consider boxing and going right at the end if you really wanted to. Like, that is something you can consider.
I'll commit to the lap, and if it's shit, I'll...
Yeah. Because track improvement plus fresh tyres will be OP.
Yeah.
So this is why I listened to you, Wilson, but you weren't here an hour ago.
Yeah, but
you know what you're talking about.
Can't get home, you know, it's paid.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a busy
Yeah,
man.
come on.
Yeah, come on.
Will you even get round again? Or you have to pit now?
I'll be alright, I think. Oh no, I just commit to that one. I don't need another lap, I'm all good. I can do it in one. I'll back myself in the wet. So, as you heard, Mr. Wilson Hughes, McLaren Esports driver, the intermediate is best on its first lap, but I'm confident in my ability and my pace, and you'll see here, P2. Wow. 4.73. Now we're going to take a quick cool down lap. My teammate Lewis goes P2, so we now drop to P3. And we're going to go for one last attempt. We're now P5, P6. And there's 20 seconds on the clock, so we're going to see if we can try and deliver. But as I was saying, in these conditions, you know, it's a level playing field. No one practices, so it's down to what you can do in the moment. And in these situations, like in Spa, in round 1, I'm fast. I genuinely am quick. And we're all running a dry setup because the sprint and the main race is dry. This is a sprint round, by the way. So yeah, already, look at that. Turn 1, 3/10 up on the exit of now turn 2. And this is brilliant. Into the S section then, looking to find some time. The track is evolving and improving, so lap times are going to drop. And we actually started out pretty late, so we may get some good track conditions here. Through Sector 1, down by a fraction on Lenny PNR in P4. And you'll see faster laps flash up on screen pretty much any moment now. Wow, the track's fast. And there's confirmation. The track's getting quicker, the conditions are improving. And tyre at this point isn't really a factor because the track is just getting faster. You can see Molnar 47.2 and P1. So that's about half a second quicker than us. So right now we're up for 46. We're up on him by 3/10. So we're on for a 46. So right now we are on for pole if you compare the lap time. So this is looking good. Leroy now 47.0 with the new benchmark. Into the end of Sector 2. We lose a little bit of time through the braking zone there and the slow section. Now going to try and see if we can find it through the double rights and lefts. Looking to close out the lap here as we're nearly a second up. So we're cooking. Slowly but surely we are cooking. And we're now over a second up as we get a decent exit out of here. As the goalposts are now moved into the 46s. And we're going to see if others do improve. Either way, you can see now Lenny 46.4. We are pretty close to that. We're on for a 0.5 right now. So this is going to be marginal. So could we get pole out the final corner? Yannick Schmidt 46.0. What lap? 46.4, P2. Light work.
Oh, mate.
I backed myself in the wet. I said it. It's light work.
Mate, that's what he does.
Do you know what, Wilson? If your first lap theory is correct, I reckon if I'd had a first, like,
Mate,
single,
you would have been pole. You would have been pole.
And yeah, overall, very enjoyable. I like a bit of wet conditions. I was hoping for the sprint and the race to be in those conditions because it could have been a lot of fun. Could have actually, you never know, maybe fight for the win. But either way, we'll see what happens. We've got a sprint and a race next up. P3, best qualifying of the season. And just when I think, you know, after Abu Dhabi, that I'm really slow off the pace, and you can see the lack of practice and, you know, how down we are. Something like this happens, and it just reminds me that I'm actually not a bad driver. It's just I don't practice enough. Because I don't have the time, this is not my main focus. My main focus is content creation. This is a secondary thing, whereas these other guys only league race, so they practice a lot more than me. And that's nothing wrong with that, that's just the reality. So P3, Rushan Jacobs, P2, Yannick Schmidt, P1, our teammate Lewis Welch in P10, and we're now going to get into the sprint. Now for this one, we've chosen the soft compound tyre. The 2 ahead are on medium, so we might get a chance here to snatch the lead. Lights out and away we go at the circuit of the Americas, and it's a decent start. To the outside we go. We're going to take a nice wide line here to try and find some space into turn 1 though. Someone with a huge lunge causes everyone to drop wide, and now 4 wide through turn 2, and it's already gone just like that without the P14. We take out Mona there as we now oh well, that's done.
Confirms we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Simply pain, nothing but pain, and my luck will just never change. Who went up the inside of turn 1, man? Someone at turn 1 went for some sort of a madness, and then I just got completely turned in at turn 2, completely cut up. I then left space into the S's where it was on my inside, and he still spun. And then yeah, I lost my wing, that's my fault, I should have reacted, but fuck that shit, man. What? You know, driving at the back, you know, you get people that are generally shit drivers, as almost put in the wall. So yeah, into the pit lane we're going to go. We're going to get another set of softs on, I believe, and hope for a safety car, or just go to the end and see if in the race we can turn this one around. Worst thing is, I wish you could apply penalties for the race after this, but you can't, so it's kind of irrelevant. And yeah, I didn't know at the time, but it was actually 4 wide through turn 2, which is never going to work. So, sprint done. We're going to start from 19th in the main race. The good news, Lewis Welch from P10 to P4. Incredible drive. He chose the softs, and they were, I think, the better sprint tyre, and he got the job done. So also bagged some points for us, which is really good as a team, as we didn't get any points in Abu Dhabi. And of course, I got pegged down in the race. So yeah, it's just annoying, man. Really frustrating. Qualify well, and just a dive bomb into 1, and then a 4 wide pinch into 2. It just, yeah, the actual damage was my fault, but even that was really unfortunate. Just, you know, very slight tap, and we got damage. And safety cars were reduced, so we're pretty much not going to get bailed out in this pretty much ever again, unless we get a massive slice of luck. So let's get into the race. Right, part 2. We've got a 4C back, which is beautiful. Up to turn 1 then. Hard tyres, completely different scenario. Heavier fuel tanks as well. We keep it tidy. As we now make our way out of turn 2, we're going to go round the outside of Mona and get the inside into the S section. And I felt really good actually. I had really good grip and temperature in these tyres, and I had some really good pace. I tried to look up the inside of Bogdan, and to be fair, in hindsight, I should have gone for that. I should have gone for that. There was a space. We go for it at the very next opportunity, but Bogdan fights back, just runs me out of road, so I have to get out of it, and that invites pressure from behind. So I'm going to take a bit of a 200 IQ strat here and just go super wide onto the marbles, but with the intention of getting a good exit. As you can see, good exit. I knew that was coming. And we just read that beautifully, so we defend ourselves really well there from, you know, pressure from Kevin on mediums and Mona, and we're still going to actually attack Bogdan, who, as you can see, leaves the door wide open, so we're going to slide up the inside here to try and get that one, but again, unsuccessful, but we're trying to keep our nose in. Again, he leaves the door open, so we're going to take it this time, trying to go through the double rights, and now onto the left. We pretty much replicate the same thing at the hairpin as we go super deep and super wide, read it beautifully, and get the move done using all the track. And now we're pressuring Corningolo in the Ferrari, going for the little dummy from the right to left, up the inside, but not quite successful. Oh no, that was so little contact. Such little contact. What? Oh my god. Fuck's sakes. Yeah, unfortunately, race over again. I couldn't pit it because I had the Mercedes on my left, so we're going to have to stay out and take another lap of pain, but that was really, really annoying and frustrating. Well, safety car. Probably not, because it's on reduced. Oh, you're retired. Oh my god, please.
Green flag, we're racing again, let's go.
Please, it's a car in the middle of the track. For crying out loud. Wow. That was not a safety car. And yeah, no safety car deployed. Bogged down backwards on the track and retired on track as well, which usually does trigger one. Deja vu. And yeah, exactly that. Deja vu from the sprint. Just really unfortunate and nothing we could do. So onto the mediums, we're going to drive these super, super long. And all the way onto lap 25. You can see by my posture, I've pretty much just given up at this point. I'm just waiting for a safety car. This is the last possible... I've never driven this position before. Last possible lap for a safety car to happen. So if it doesn't happen, we're going to just retire because it's been such a painful sprint and race. After the highs of qualifying, and to top it off, we get a pen.
Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your head down and let's get it done.
And yeah, pretty much that was the nail in the coffin, no safety car. So we'll box, call it a day, and what had so much promise ended up in just being a complete failure, disaster, as we retire from the US Grand Prix. Done, man. Absolutely done.